stay. Okay, this includes your girlfriend, your LTR, even a woman you're casually dating, much less your wife. You should never come to the point in your relationship where you are on your hands and knees and you are groveling, holding her skirt, begging her not to leave you. Okay? Because once you're in that position, and we've all been there, guys. I mean, any of us who've ever been, in love or been with a girl that we really liked and we didn't want to lose her and we're still blue pill, chances are you were in this position where you begged her to stay. I've been there too, right? Where you don't want to lose a girl, right? And you're willing to do anything and you tell her basically anything she wants to hear. You make all sorts of crazy promises, how you're going to change and I'm going to change my ways, girl, for you because I love you. I don't want you to leave. I'm going to do whatever you want me to do. You tell me, I will do it. I just want to make you happy. Then you really sink even lower, just this low value, low tier male, right? And you just really end up making things worse for yourself. But you're so emotional. I mean, you're so paranoid of losing her that you're willing to do anything at this point. And when you reach this point in your relationship, you are far beyond damage control. I mean, you're at the point where really there's nothing you can do to make her stay. Now, she might stay with you temporarily, right? A lot of these girls will feel sorry for you and they'll actually stay with you temporarily, usually like a week or two, sometimes even less than that, but that's what I found. Generally, you could beg these girls to stay with you for another week or two, but it will never ever go back to the way it was, which is what you want when you're begging your girl to stay, is you want things to go back to the way they were. The problem is you cannot get that result, right? Going back to the way things were in the beginning, doing something that you did not do in the beginning, which was begging her, pleading with her, acting like a little bitch. What got you here won't get you there, is how the expression goes, right? So when you're in this position where you're trying to save your relationship and you're trying to stop your girl from leaving to the point where you need to beg, which is like, hands down, it is the lowest position you can possibly ever be in a relationship where you are begging. I mean, it's no different than being on the street and somebody has a gun to your head and you're begging for your life. You're pleading and crying and groveling not to kill you. You're in this same position with your girl. And unfortunately, when it comes to your girl, I mean, even if somebody who's ready to shoot you might have more sympathy for you than your actual girl when you're trying to grovel to her and convince her to stay with you and baby, just please give me another chance. How many times have you said that to your girl? Please, baby, just please give me one more chance. That's all I'm asking for you is just one more chance, right? And even if she does happen to give you that one more chance, 99% of the time, she's not even actually giving you a fair shot. Again, she will stay with you for another week or two, but she will put you under all sorts of ridiculous expectations to be like this perfect man. And if you do anything so slightly to screw that up, I mean, you could breathe wrong. You could sneeze in a way that irritates her. You can change the channel to a TV show or a movie she doesn't particularly care for, and that will be enough to just send her packing. I mean, when you're at the point where you're begging her to stay, really at this point it's too late to do anything other than let her go. I mean, and really that's your one shot of actually getting her to stay, assuming you want that bitch to stay, right? The best shot that you have, if you really want to work it out with her, and say you have kids with her, and you don't want your kids to grow up without a mother, the best thing you could do is actually just let her go and go do your own thing and kind of reestablish your abundance as a man. Because when you're at a point where you're begging the girl to stay with you, okay, when you're at that point, you have lost your abundance, okay? You have sunken into scarcity. You have sunken into one-itis, which is the worst place to be with a female. Any female, even if you're casually dating her, and she knows that you're stuck on her and she's the only one and you've got one-itis, you've got a case of one-itis for her, you are dead in the water. Doesn't matter how much she likes you. She will lose that attraction for you knowing that you have no other options, knowing that you have made her the center of your universe, that you have made her like the entire ecosystem that you depend on for happiness and positive emotions. You know, and I see too many guys do this. Way too many guys do this out there. And, you know, again, I don't like to blame guys for this so much because we've gone through so much indoctrination our entire lives of basically mainstream media, parents-teacher society, Disney movies just banging it into our heads that, oh, you know, you have to make the girl your world. A real man pushes his own needs aside and rolls out the red carpet for his woman and makes his woman his entire world. You know, that was beaten into your head for so long. And I mean, really, all you have to do is go back and look at the results of that. Where has that ever gotten you? What has that ever done for you? Besides lose the girl and make you miserable and send you back out at the clubs looking for another one. And then repeat this cycle of self-destructive behavior with the next girl where you're begging her to stay now. And then you lose her, then the next girl. Now you're begging her, you know. And part of you following my channel and following 33 Secrets is I am here to end that, okay? I am here to actually fix things for you, help you fix things. Because really, the only person who could help, like really make the changes in your life that you need to are you. You don't want history to repeat itself, okay? Basically, that's what it boils down to. And this is why I am letting you know where this is coming from at its core. If you are trying to beg your girl or any girl you're seeing to not dump you, to not leave you, to give you another chance, okay? I'm telling you, if you do that, you're just making things worse for yourself. The best thing that you could do, which I teach all my students, is you could pull the rug out from underneath her and you can walk away from her before she has a chance to walk away from you. You can dump her before she dumps you. And the conversation's really simple, guys. All you have to do, just when you feel like your girl's about to dump you and she's expecting you to get on your knees, your hands and knees, and beg and give her whatever she wants and bow down to her like she's a princess, instead of doing that, you make a quick phone call and you go, hey girl, it's me. I've been doing a lot of thinking, right? Make sure you got to tell her you've been doing a lot of thinking so you're not acting irrational, you're not acting out of emotion. Girl, I've been doing a lot of thinking and I've come to the realization you are not treating me well. You're not being good to me. I don't like the way you're treating me and I don't like the way I feel when I'm around you. So you know what? I'm going to go do my own thing. Good luck. Cut it off. I'm moving on. Right? And then you cut it. And then you move on without her, okay? And then you go live your life, right? You go live your life for a while. The funny thing is, this is kind of like a catch-22 because the thing is, like, when it comes to these girls, they won't actually ever come back. And I'm going to tell you this is a harsh reality and a harsh truth that you must know. These girls will never come back to you until you are actually over them, mentally, psychologically, over them, right? That is the time when they will come back. They will not come back a second before that. They kind of documented this in this movie, I've talked about this before, this movie called Swingers, 1996. The guy, throughout the entire movie, he's obsessed with his ex-girlfriend, Jon Favreau. He's obsessed with his ex-girlfriend, like calling her all the time, leaving messages. She's never returning his calls. And then at the end of the movie, he actually meets somebody else that he likes. He finally meets a girl that he likes. And right as he's starting to move on, like mentally onto this new girl, his ex-girlfriend out of nowhere hits him up. And she's like, hey, I was just thinking about you. Hey, I miss you, right? That will happen when you are psychologically and mentally and emotionally over your girl. Sadly, that's when these girls come back to you, is when you are finally just done with them. And they won't come back a second sooner than that. I mean, not only did they document this in that movie Swingers, but you might have experienced this. I've definitely experienced this. I've talked about my ex from 2006. I told you guys about her. She was the last girl to actually dump me. Last girl that I was like super heartbroken over. I really, wanted to hang on to her. And I mean, there got to a point where I was kind of like begging her to stay. I was like, hey, don't leave, and blah, and we could work this out. I sunk into that like low value, blue pill, one-itis frame. I mean, this was a while ago, this was 2006, but I could not say or do anything to convince her to stay, right? And that whole summer of 2006, I mean, not the entire summer, but most of it, I was like heartbroken. I didn't want to leave the house. I was super depressed. And I just wanted her to come back. I was like, why can't she just come back? Why can't it just be like it was before? You know, and I'd look at our old photos. You're probably doing this too, right? Look at your old photos together, vacations you took, you know, just places you went together, the food you ate together. You might look at old receipts and like, oh, this was when I went to dinner with my baby, you know, and it hurts, right? And you just want the girl to come back. And then finally, after some time goes by, I mean, for me, it was like 2.5 months. After enough time goes by, you start to get a little bitter, a little angry. And that really is what pushes you through to the other side, where you finally get over it. And you're like, you know what? Screw this bitch. What a bitch, you know? And then you start thinking about all those times that she pissed you off, she annoyed you, she treated you like shit, right? That all starts to come back. And then that halo effect starts to evaporate, because when you're trying to beg your girl back and you don't want her to leave and you're paranoid that she's going to leave you, you kind of put her on this imaginary pedestal where you only see her good qualities and you forget about all of her bad qualities. All you see are the good qualities. Again, it's that halo effect, right? She's like a halo overhead. She could do nothing wrong. She's perfect. Oh, I really screwed this up. Oh, she could have been the one, or she was the one. You know, and you tend to pedestalize her, making her seem like she's just this perfect little creature. She was just perfect for you, and you were meant to be, and you were soulmates, right? Because you've sunken into one-itis. You've sunken into scarcity, right? And it's no different when you're hungry and you're starving and somebody walks by you with like a saltine cracker, and you're like, oh my God, look at that cracker. It looks so good. Looks like a plate of nachos right now. It looks like a 3-course meal. It looks like prime rib, right? But really, it's just a cracker. Okay? It's just a cracker. I was remembering that joke from Raw with Eddie Murphy. It's a pretty funny skit. He was talking about, if you're hungry and you're starving, you know, somebody has a cracker, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's the best cracker I ever had. Same thing when you sink into scarcity and one-itis with your girl. You start to just mentally pedestalize her in her head like she's just like way more badass than she is. She's way hotter than what she is. She's way better in bed than what she actually is. You just start to create this imaginary, like, flawless image of her in your mind, and you give her this halo effect just because you're so in fear of losing her, right? You're so in fear of losing her. But again, if you actually want her to come back, even if you don't want her to come back, you want to have the satisfaction. Maybe you won't have this in the short term, but you want this in the long term, right? You want the satisfaction of knowing that she did try to come back to you. And then you turned around, you're like, nope, see ya, bitch, right? You're like, nope. Not after the way you treated me, not after you cheated on me, not after you did all this stuff, right? It's like when my ex from 2006, I mentioned this too. She came back, right? She eventually tried to come back. You know when she came back? Literally, she came back the very same week that I decided mentally and emotionally that I was done with her. I don't want anything to do with her. I don't want to see her again. I'm never going to take her back, no matter what she says or does. It was that week that I decided that in my head, and I actually did meet another girl at that time. Cuter girl, hotter girl, and I moved on to that girl. And I remember that week that I met that new girl, and I was moving on emotionally, just like in the movie Swingers, I was moving on. That was the week my ex came back, and she was like, hey, we can work this out. We can fix this. You know, I love you. And wow, I was stupid. It's weird because she started acting like the person she was in the beginning, right? She started acting like she was before. Because the thing about when your girl starts to want to leave you, right? She starts acting like a different person. And all you want, as the guy trying to beg her to stay with you, all you want is for things to return back to normal. You just want her to act like she was in the beginning. Because now that she's trying to leave you, she's acting like a completely different person, right? It's like, I don't even know this person. Who is she? But all of a sudden, like once you start to get over her, after enough time passes and you're like, you've moved on emotionally, all of a sudden when she tries to come back, she comes back as that same person that she was in the beginning. And you're like, it's too late. Screw you. Right? You should have came back sooner. And that's exactly how I was feeling with my ex from 2006. She came back the week I was over her. She came back as the same person in the beginning. And I'm like, after months of her acting like a complete stranger, acting like somebody I didn't even know, right? Now she's come back as herself again. And I was like, you're late. Too late, right? You're a day late and dollar short, as they say. I had no problem moving on to the next girl, right? And it didn't even really work out with the next girl. I mean, with her, I just dated this other girl, the new girl, for only a few months, and I wasn't really feeling it with her, but I still did not go back to my ex. I did not go back to her. I just kept moving on. And that's around the time I really dove headfirst into game, into pickup, and I really, really started to see the skills that I had built up in game. It was around that time I realized that I was not taking advantage of that enough. And I'm like, I am gonna go party my ass off, and I'm gonna move to Hollywood. I'm just gonna game, and you know what? No more of these girls right now. I just want to game. I just want to do pickup for the next several years. That's pretty much what I did. I was like, I turned into like my own version of a rock star, just constantly meeting new girls, new beautiful women, going on adventures with them, constantly gaming with my wings. We were just constantly meeting new people, not even just like hot girls, but also like really cool guys. We met some like guys who were very like financially successful, and we would like hang out on their yachts and shit like that. I mean, just all from doing game. We were constantly meeting new people. It was probably the most fun time in my life, and it was right around the time before I started my business and I left my corporate job, so I really had nothing to do but do pickup and game. It was really a wonderful time in my life. But had I gone back to my ex when she tried to come back, I would not have experienced that. I probably wouldn't even be teaching these coaching videos right now. I wouldn't be up here like shooting right now. I'm traveling right now, and I'm in my hotel room. I'm on the top floor. Again, I always like getting the top floor, and got a great view here, and I'm just enjoying life. I'm constantly meeting new people, and it's all because I did not go back to my ex. I reestablished my abundance as a man, and then I realized how piss poorly she was treating me, how unfairly she was treating me, just like your ex might be treating you unfairly. And hey, I don't want to put all the blame on the girl, right? Your girl, my ex-girlfriend, I don't want to put all the blame on them, because there's a reason why you're in that position. There was a reason why I was in that position. It's because I allowed myself to sink into that scarcity-based mindset. I allowed the girl to become the center of my universe, right? Which you should never, ever do. She should never become the star of your movie, because that's when all hell breaks loose. And that's how you end up being in a position where you're basically begging your girl not to leave you, right? But the way you fix that, like I said, is you have to just let her go, and you have to reestablish your abundance as a man. You have to reestablish that self-awesomeness that you had when you first met her, okay? Which will require you to move on mentally and emotionally. It will take some time, depending on how long you've been together, right? But once you have moved on mentally and emotionally, you will strengthen, you will go back into abundance, and you will meet another girl, you will have moved on. That is when your ex will come back and you will be tested. Like, I'm going to take this bitch back or what, right? It's almost like the universe likes to play with you, like see if this guy will take her back or not, right? But you know better, right? You know that if you take this girl back, chances are history is going to repeat itself, okay? History is going to repeat itself. I always use the analogy like playing in the NFL for a certain team, and you've just kind of like, played with that team long enough, and your relationship has ran its course, and you've moved on to a new team. The last thing you want to do is go back to your old team. Why? Right? Why? As a man, we need to keep venturing. That's part of our, biological need as men. Having testosterone, we need to continue on with our adventure, no matter how painful it is, no matter how much it hurts. And believe me, at times it hurts, at times it's lonely, but it's part of your journey, your hero's journey as a man, to keep going out there and keep finding new adventures to get yourself into, new people to meet, new places to see, right? This is why I'm constantly moving, right? I'm constantly moving around. I'm constantly traveling, not just because I can, but because it keeps me awake in life, and it keeps me alert, and it keeps me alive. It keeps me young, right? So I'm going to wrap up here. Until next time, this is M from the 33 Secrets. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Okay, also hit that notification bell, right? Very important, you guys. Hit the notification bell so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on the YouTube. Okay, more importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, right? It helps me out a ton when you actually subscribe. So please subscribe to my channel as well. And for you guys who want to support my work and all of this highly valuable content even further, red pill, gold pill, platinum pill, the best way to do that is by jumping into my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months to Mastery, where I'm teaching guys just like you how to go out there and approach and close the youngest, hottest, and most beautiful looking women on the planet. I'm talking about 8s, 9s, and 10s, same exact type of women that myself and my students are out there approaching and closing every single week. And I kid you not, every single week. I have students all over the world just totally killing it, crushing it, meeting beautiful women every single day using the same exact lessons that I teach you in my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months of Mastery. And right now it's still only $1 to get in, so take advantage of it. Still only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons, and that's the absolute best way to support my work and my channel and everything I'm doing here. Really easy to sign up. All you need to do is just click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you could get signed up right now. Just takes 2 seconds. So do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video. As we sign out from the top of my hotel here. Very awesome view on a very gorgeous night.